everybody, back at it once again. Favorite entrepreneur, your boy, official Tyree Samuels, right? So today we're actually going to be going over is we're going to be talking about the best times to actually trade within the foreign exchange market. But before we go any further, make sure y'all go ahead and tap that subscribe button because I want you guys to stay up to date every single time I drop a new video, okay? So touching basis on when is the best time to trade in the foreign exchange market. So if you guys know anything about the stock market, right? The stock market is going to be open from 9 a.m. to about 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, right? Now, outside of that, the stock market is closed, which means there are ways to technically trade whenever the stock market is closed, but it's not really going to be, you know, the most profitable way because the majority of the movement is happening during those 9 to 5 hours. Now, when it comes to the foreign exchange market, if you don't know, right, regular Forex pairs, okay, are going to be the currencies of, you know, specific countries, right? Like the Australian dollar, the United States dollar, the Japanese yen, things like that. And with these currency pairs, they're only going to be available to be traded from Sunday to Friday, okay? From Sunday to Friday. And between Sunday to Friday, the market is actually going to open at 4 p.m. Central or 5 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to close on Friday at 4 p.m. Central and or 5 p.m. Eastern. So what does that mean? That means from Sunday when the market opens until Friday when the market closes, you literally have a revolving 24-hour clock of nonstop opportunities within the market those 5 days that you can actually trade within the 24-hour period. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean you're going to sit at your laptop 24 hours each day and trade, but it means within that window, you can be looking for setups. Now, a lot of things that people go through is they're not realizing that even though I have a good setup, it may not be the right time of day for me to actually take this trade. So let me actually dive into that for you guys right now. One thing that I want to be able to do is if you guys are brand new to Forex, go ahead and take a look at how to use MetaTrader 4. This video I'm gonna link up at the top so that you guys can actually, you know, learn how to be able to use the app that's going to help you guys start taking foreign exchange trades and that you guys could be able to, you know, start copying and pasting. Speaking of copy and pasting, I actually have a free Telegram where I send signals in the description. Now, with that being said, guys, I'm actually about to go over to my YouTube channel. And I previously made a YouTube video, not titled this, but I actually went into depth on the times of day that you want to trade. So I'm actually going to locate this for you. Now, as I'm speaking about it, I'm actually go ahead and drop the link for that YouTube video up here at the top. It is going to be labeled Harmonic Scanner Basics. So if you guys come to my YouTube channel, locate Harmonic Scanner Basics, click on it.
Thinking about installing Grammarly? It's an online assistant that helps over 13 million people right-click.
Okay, bet.
On the Asian side.
Now, what I want you guys to be able to do is I want you guys to fast forward to about 9 minutes and 16 seconds, okay? Fast forward to about 9 minutes and 16 seconds. And then what you can actually do is I'm actually put this up on my screen, okay? So versus me trying to sit here and type it out and all this other stuff, I actually did, you know, the liberty of putting this information on a chart that I made on Canva. So if any of y'all, you know, need some help with, you know, making PowerPoints, go to Canva, okay? Now, with that being said, what I want you guys to really understand is when it comes to the time of day, we're about to dive directly into everything that you guys need to know. So take a screenshot, do whatever you need to do, right? Now, the best time of day to be able to trade in the foreign exchange market, it's not really subjective, okay? It's a pretty straightforward thing. Now, you're going to have 4 different sessions within the foreign exchange market throughout the 24 hours, okay? Now, the best time zone to trade is going to be 2 a.m. to 10 a.m., okay? Now, that's Eastern. So obviously, if you're not Eastern, you want to adjust that with whatever time zone you're in. I'm Central, so that would be 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. So that means you have an 8-hour window that you really want to be looking for the opportunities to take a trade. Now, it doesn't mean that you're trading the entire 8 hours, but you have an 8-hour window to be looking for setup. So unfortunately, some people feel like, you know, it's just all fun and games. No, day trading is just like anything else. It's similar to an occupation. You have to dedicate time each day that you're going to commit to it. So those 8 hours a day, you're already normally, you know, at work. So this would just be you chilling at home, waiting for a setup to happen. Now, outside of that 8-hour window, okay, you need to know the 4 sessions that are traded in the foreign exchange market, okay? Now, the 4 sessions traded within the foreign exchange market are going to be the Sydney, the Asian, the London, and the New York, okay? I'm going to repeat it one more time. The Sydney, the Asian, the London, and the New York session. Now, of these 4 sessions, they're all going to start and end at a different time. So session 1, which is going to be the Sydney session, right? The Sydney session starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, which will be 2 p.m. Central my time, and it ends at 12 a.m. Eastern, which will be 11 p.m. Central my time. Okay. So that means that at 3 p.m. Eastern is when the Sydney market opens, which is going to be, like Sydney, Australia. And then it would close about midnight Eastern time. Okay. Then you have the Asian session. The Asian session opens at 7 p.m. Eastern, closes at 4 a.m. Eastern, right? The London session, right? 3 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Eastern is when it opens to close. And then the New York session, which is basically for people that you're living in the United States, one of the most important ones, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay. So now that you know those 4 sessions, now we're going to go talk about the currency pairs. Okay. Now, the best window to trade. So remember I spoke on 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. is the best time to trade. But notice there are a few of these sessions that may not even fall within, that window. Okay. So these are going to be the currency pairs that you guys want to be able to trade in the given session. So there's going to be a rule of thumb that you guys want to be able to remember. If you are to ever trade outside of the 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. window, okay, it is okay assuming you are still trading a currency pair in the correct session. Now let's talk about that, okay? So if we're looking at the Sydney session, I'm gonna be honest with you, the Sydney session, you can almost altogether kind of disregard it. Not too many people proactively trade the Sydney session. Okay, what you're actually going to be doing is you're going to be trading the cross of these sections. Okay, so you're going to trade the cross of the Sydney session. You're going to trade the cross of the Asian session. So when the Sydney and Asian session cross, right, that's whenever there's going to be more liquidity in the market. So whenever you're trading the Sydney on top of the Asian, that's a better time to trade than just the Sydney by itself. Okay. Whenever you're trading the London session and the New York session, that's a better time than just trading the London session by itself. So whenever you have the Asian session, right, you're going to look at AUD, NZD, and JPY pairs as I have written down here so that you guys can see. So that means if you see a pair like AUD, NZD, and it's in the proper session time, which is the Asian session, which is 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern, you're good to take that trade, okay? If you're looking in the London session, right, which is 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, if you're looking at a currency, Euro, GBP, or Chef, right, any of those collective, then you're good to take that trade. Finally, if you're trading within the New York session, which is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, you would like to look for currency pairs that either have a USD or a Canadian cross, okay? Now, just so you guys can understand, the reason why these times are set up like this is if you think about in America, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern is when the stock market opens. And it's also around the time that most banks open and close as far as federal credit unions as well. So in these other countries, Sydney, the Asian session in London, these are going to be the corresponding times based off of their time zone whenever their banks are going to be, collectively open. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to a chart so I can show you guys, a little bit more example in a little more detail. So I actually did the due diligence. I like that word, right? I did the due diligence of coming to a chart ahead of time and actually marking up some areas that I want you guys to really be able to focus on. So a lot of times that people are paying attention to things like news, okay? So say, for instance, you're paying attention to things like news, which, by the way, if you guys are not used to TradingView as far as what you're looking at right now, definitely go tap into a video I'm going to link up at the top going over how to be able to use TradingView, okay? So a lot of times whenever news happens, right, the news event is going to push the market sometimes in a direction that maybe you didn't predict, okay? But it's not going to be by mistake that the news event is happening at a certain time of day. I want y'all to remember that, okay? If there's going to be a news event, start paying attention to the currency pair that is happening with the news event, what time it's happening at of the day, and if it's going to be happening during a session that's going to be paired with that currency, okay? Example. If we're looking at gold, which is a USD pair, remember what we went over, okay? So if we're looking at USD, we know that that is in the New York session, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's going to be, we want to be looking for a USD or a Canadian cross, okay? So if we're looking at gold, gold obviously has a USD cross in it. Now, the thing I want to be able to focus on, for this example, I'm going to just go ahead and change this to Eastern, okay? Now, what I want you guys to notice is notice this gigantic move to the downside that the market did, which was collectively, give or take, I think that's like 1,000 pips. It's something like that, right? That number on gold be throwing me off a little bit, but it's about 1,000 pips, give or take. Okay. So what you guys are looking at is it's not by mistake the time of day that this initial drop started. Whenever you have big drops like this, you usually want to be able to pay attention to the time of day that it happened, and it's probably going to correlate with the session. Okay. So if we know that we want this to happen between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, let's see at what time did this initial candle that started this down move get created. 8 a.m. right? Can't make that up. So this literally happened at 8 a.m. Guess what time that session started? 8 a.m. right? Let's go over another example real quick, right? Let's go over USD Chef. So if we look at USD Chef, right, we can see this gigantic impulse move, and we can see this gigantic move that continued up, right? Now, if we pay attention to it, this says 10 a.m., which does what? Falls in between the New York session of the 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. window, right? And then this also happened at 8 a.m., which, as we saw in gold, that's actually when the New York session starts. So now you guys can actually start seeing the exact time that the market is creating the movement. So maybe you can start predicting ahead of time what time the move is going to be made. Okay. I have one more example I want to show you guys. This is going to be on USD CAD. Similar concept. If you see the drastic drop USD CAD had, it actually happened at what time? 8 a.m., which is the start of the New York session. So definitely make sure you guys are, paying attention to these scenarios. And on top of that, what I want you guys to be able to see is, let's look at this example, okay, of all of this consolidation that is within the market. So the market actually did a lot of consolidation, okay, right here, as you guys can see. But let's see at what point in time did the market actually break out of this consolidation, okay? So it looks like at this time of day, whenever the market broke out, you are not actually in the New York session, okay? If this is 1400, that means that 5 p.m. Eastern, because it's a 24-hour clock, that would have almost been hit. So you wouldn't have actually been looking to take this trade when it broke out of this consolidation, okay? What you could have been doing, right, is you could have been looking for an opportunity, maybe over here, to where you guys see right whenever this drop initially started happening. What time of day was it? It was 10 a.m. Okay. So maybe you could have waited for it to come back to this structure area. Okay. You could have possibly still been looking for a sell, and then you could have waited for it to drop. Okay. And this is going to be 10 a.m., which actually falls in line with that time window. Now, I'm gonna show you guys another random example of just just of any kind of pair. Let me see. So, okay, let's look at this real quick, right? This is AUD CAD, okay? AUD CAD. Now, AUD, right? This is how you guys are going to be able to use this as a final example. AUD is going to be an Asian session pair. CAD is going to be a New York session pair. So just as long as one of these pairs is in session, you're good. You don't need both, okay? So if either AUD or CAD is in session, we're good. Now, if we know the Asian session ends at 4 a.m., we know that this is probably not in session because it says that it's 10 a.m., right? But I also know that a Canadian pair is going to fall in line with the New York session, which is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that 10 a.m. window actually falls in perfect unison with the New York session, which means that it would have made sense for me to take this sell at this specific time of day. Now, I hope you guys were able to come here and learn something new, because if you did, please go ahead and touch that subscribe button, because like I said, we dropping sauce, we dropping information all day long, and every single week I'm gonna be giving y'all new and informative information so y'all can keep applying it. Now, if you appreciated this and you think there's somebody else that might need this video that could help them, let's go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe one more time on this video, right? And if you guys, right, are able to take advantage of this information and it actually starts making an impact in your trading, definitely make sure you guys let me know. Message me on Instagram at official Tyree Samuels. I'm gonna see you guys at the top, not front of top, because the bottom is way too crowded. See, you wouldn't want to be you. Peace.